all the kindness is really not about money. It's about the people and the relationships that connected us to other people and other relationships.
You're listening to Nonprofits Today, the podcast that showcases the incredible impact nonprofits have in our ever-changing world. The podcast that gets the pulse on today's economic, social, political, and humanitarian climate straight from frontline leaders, innovative changemakers, and courageous risk takers in our communities and around the globe. And now, without further ado, here's your host, Sarah Box.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Nonprofits Today podcast. Today's guest is Robin Berlinsky, and she's considered a powerhouse in the nonprofit world and also the founder of the Abundant Nonprofit. Robin has over 30 years of experience as an educator turned entrepreneur and has successfully built 2 multi-7-figure nonprofits. She's known for helping nonprofit leaders unlock critical funding, expand their reach, and embrace a mindset of abundance in a sector that too often operates from a place of scarcity. Robin believes that nonprofit is an IRS term and not a business model, so we're going to chat a little bit about that. But that's a powerful mindset shift that's helped her lead with precision, with the precision of a Fortune 500 executive, while centering on mission, culture, and people, which is why people get into the nonprofit sector. But outside of work, she draws inspiration from leaders like Amy Porterfield, Jen Gottlieb, and Kathy Heller. She's currently reading or has recently read Be Seen by Jen Gottlieb, and you'll quickly notice that Robin leads with clarity, energy, and heart. So with that brief introduction, let me formally welcome Robin to the podcast. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate having you on the podcast, and I'd like to jump right in on your journey and leadership. So you've been in this sector space for more than 3 decades. What initially drew you into this field?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I am originally a classroom teacher. I taught first grade, and I was just loving every minute of it. I love teaching. I love being around learning. I'm a lifelong learner. And it was when I had my second child. So I have 3 children. So when my second son was born and I was staying home, I got this phone call from a local nonprofit, the Children's Museum. And I had earlier been in the early 90s involved in the Capitol campaign and setting it up. And by the time it was time to, settle in, I left to pursue motherhood because I wanted to just, it just didn't seem exciting. I'm a very, very much a startup person. So I get this phone call, hey, can you come back? There's some things we're struggling with. And of course, it felt very entrepreneurial again. So I went back in, and my superpower is problem solving, but in a really kind way where everything just feels magical, even though it's dire. It's magical because it's opportunity. And so we built up this amazing team and built it back into what it was always intended to be: 7 figures, joyful board, happy staff. And that's how it played out. So teaching has always been in my DNA, and I cannot get enough of building great things.
Okay, so you just described kind of like the dream structure for a nonprofit, right? A happy and engaged board, a team, they're doing what their mission is set forth. Let's break it down just a little bit more on kind of the core essences of how you approach that. So you talked about being a teacher, primary grade teacher. Do you bring those skills into the work you do?
I do.
Talk about that and how
I'll take it back to like the first week of school, right? So you're a first grade teacher and your little 5 and 6-year-olds come in. And one of the first things you do is you start developing the class rules together. Let's all talk about what it will mean to be a good first grade citizen, right? We're going to work together. We're going to push our chairs in. And these are the reasons. And how do you all feel about that? And what are some of the rules you would like to see? And when those students can be engaged in the foundation of that classroom, they have ownership. They have ownership of those rules. It wasn't me, the teacher, putting a list of rules on the wall, just like me going in as the executive director of a nonprofit and putting our strategic plan in front of a board. We developed it together. And the first graders were so excited, just as the board of directors is so excited when they're part of building out a strategic plan. So you do pull some, or I do pull some of those teaching skills in. And then the other piece is, with students, no matter where they come from, there are challenges, and you have, 25 students in your class. They're all very different, just like your board. You've got different board. It's like having 25 students. And what I was always intentional about was making every student feel seen. And whatever they came into the classroom with, I made a point to be present with that and understand what it was. Just like with the board, I want to take them out for coffee and have lunch with them and find out, why are you here? And what do you want to see happen in this organization? And how can I be a better leader? And so all those skills really do play out in a nonprofit as much as they do in a first grade classroom.
So how did you take, well, when you went back, let's just stay with the one example, right? When you went back to help them kind of reconfigure and move on. Where did you start? Did you start with a plan? Did you start with like team building? Where did you start?
Great question. I started by listening. I went in to say, you guys, I'm not here to fix you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to be, the wizard. I'm here to see what you're most proud of. I want to know what your accomplishments are, and I want to know what your pain points are. And then I'd love to just walk around and observe and kind of take inventory of where we are. And that coming in not as the I'm here to fix, but I'm here to support, changed everything, because it felt more inclusive and more like we're a team. And that was really the whole start of it, was the trust. Like, okay, she's here to build with us, not for us. And the really first thing I did was look at the way the day-to-day operations were happening and where is their money opportunity? Because I love that Kathy Heller always says, money's a people game, not a number game. So if we're hemorrhaging money, how are we interacting and communicating with people, with our members, with the community, with funders? So I really sat back and observed it, probably honestly for like the first month. I'm surprised they didn't fire me, because it probably looked like I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting back and watching, because I just wanted to see it all happen. I wanted to be in the anthill and kind of know what everybody's role was.
What were some of the surprises for you during that month? Like, were there some parts of brilliance that you just thought, no changes here, this is so solid, or places where you went, okay, we're going to have to dig in here, as a team?
Yeah, the biggest one that came immediately to me is, that that thing we are all sometimes really guilty of is we're doing it because that's the way we've always done it. That's the reason. I remember overhearing a phone call. This woman was in charge of setting up summer camps. And so, mind you, we had a 10,000 square foot space with exhibits and good energy. It's a children's museum. And I overheard this woman say, oh, well, I can put you on a waiting list. And so I thought, oh, let me find out what our capacity is. It was 20. I said, 20 is our capacity. We have 10,000 square feet. I was a class. I had 25 students in a 200 square foot classroom. How are we doing this? And so I learned that we were limiting ourselves. We were doing it. And her response was interesting, because she said, I can only handle 20. I said, okay, that's great. Let's hire people. And we want to take advantage. We want to leverage all of our opportunities. We're in this beautiful space in downtown Charleston. And guess what's right around the corner? The College of Charleston, which has the most amazing school of education, with future educators who are starving for an opportunity to work with students. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we reached out and we were full at capacity. And I mean, that summer, really the money came first. And then we were able to set up all the systems. But seeing the flow of the energy when you get out of your own way and remove those blockers, that mindset of this is the way we've always done it, we must continue to do it this way.
Well, and also you listened very clearly. She didn't say she wouldn't or couldn't do it. It was, this is all I can handle. Right.
Yes.
So there's an underlying assumption, like it's all on her to get it done, which
exactly.
I think that's a really common assumption, especially when people think, okay, I've got to get all this done and it's all on me, when in fact it's not.
And you know what, Sarah, I'm glad you said that, because that's the piece of running a nonprofit like a Fortune 500 CEO, is understanding that, correct, hiring more people will cost money, but in return, you're able to bring in more income to offset the costs of paying the people. And that was the mindset that was missing. And it's not to anyone, I'm not faulting anyone. They weren't trained in that way. That's not how they think. And that's fine. That was my job to come in and point out, this is like commerce. This is how we're going to run this. The more registrations we can bring in, the more people we can hire, but our profit margin goes up considerably.
And what happened with the relationship with the College of Education?
Oh my gosh, it's still going strong today. And I've moved over now. I'm running another nonprofit, and we have still the connections with those students. And I will have to say, full disclosure, I teach at the College of Charleston. So for the last 28 years, since my second son was born, I have been teaching adjunct in the School of Education. Right now I'm teaching early childhood teachers. And it's been, that kind of relationship, when you think about when you are serving future teachers for the last 28 years, they're all now across the state of South Carolina as teachers, principals, administrators. And it's so easy for me to reach out and say, hey, remember me, your favorite instructor? And we have a good laugh, but it's so great because, again, money's a people game. And when you have those positive relationships, people are always more than willing to jump in and help.
Okay, so I'm going to back up again because it's so easy for me. I get caught up in the stories, but you're dropping these really powerful insights and pieces of information that I don't want to gloss over. So money is a people thing. So, but in nothing that you said, did you say, well, we're just going to use people to benefit from them? It was more like, okay, we're going to rely on people to increase our revenue and create relationships, not just ask for money.
That's right.
So help us all think a little different, because we're really ingrained, and especially in the nonprofit world, you write a grant, you get money, leave us alone, we'll do the work, right? We're the experts in the work, but to even have people who want to give you money is also a people thing. So talk a little bit more about how you cultivate those relationships. I mean, obviously you're very vivacious. You teach, so you're connecting with people who have a love of what you have a love of. And that can be really powerful in and of itself because your authenticity comes through. So talk a little bit about how you help others grow in that area.
Yeah, it's such a great space. I love this question because the relationships are so amazing. And, it's something that as a mom, I instilled in my children that we are kind above all else. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, what your job is, where you live, we are kind. And it's never for any kind of outcome. We don't do it for a reason. We do it purely because we are kind human beings and we wanted to leave the world a better place. And so that's something I've just been so passionate about throughout my career, is just helping other people, helping whenever I can. I've always jumped in. Nothing has been, I've never been above anything. I mean, I will unclog a toilet if I have to. I will always do what needs to be done, and I will always help. So when someone reaches out, there's this law of reciprocity, the karma, all the things, the laws of the universe. The more you give, the more comes back to you. And I've just seen it. I always think of Warren Buffett's book, Snowball, that's all about investing money and how money grows and wealth multiplies. So too does human capital and kindness and relationships. Like, as I move into this third act, I'm calling, when I turned 60 a few years ago, I said, this is my third act. From now until I'm 90, I am building out this legacy of helping nonprofits operate in abundance. And this is the season, this third act is where I'm seeing this snowball effect of these relationships pay off in so many ways I never expected, I never intended. I certainly didn't do it for that reason. But people are everywhere and always willing to help when they see you doing the same thing. And something you said about grants, I want to say, like, yes, grants can be very, a piece of paper and a submit button on a computer, and it feels not personal. But we've always made a point when there's sometimes at the bottom of a grant, like, anything else you want us to know, or, anything else you want to submit, And we always throw in our personality. We'll always throw in the human side of what we're trying to say, which is a big like, woohoo, we're so excited to be considered. We hope, even if we are not chosen, we hope you have a great day. And we just always want to show our human side within all the conversations and all the interactions we have, because the money that we've been, these 7-figure nonprofits that year over year just continue to be funded in a hefty reserve, and all the kindness is really not about money. It's about the people and the relationships that connected us to other people and other relationships, and sent grants to us when they didn't work for them, or nominated us for awards that had a cash prize, and just all the things that, snowball into this amazing space of abundance for our nonprofit.
Are you unique in South Carolina? Is there, and by that I mean not you as a person, but is your nonprofit space pretty unique to the children in this case, not the Abundant organization, but is that pretty unique to that area? Does it have competition?
So we don't see any competition. We always feel that we complete, we don't compete, right? So there are a lot of arts-based nonprofits, and we will show up and cheer them on. We had one recently, another nonprofit, not an arts-based nonprofit, received a $2 million grant that we also had written. We didn't get, and we still went and cheered them on. Like, we are all about, like, let's all elevate all of our missions and support each other. I would say we're unique in that our staff stay put. No one really leaves. We have a strong board. I've heard from other nonprofits that they struggle a bit to get a board that's invested in the work and shows up for board meetings and is engaged. And we don't have that problem. So I would say we're unique in a way that I feel we're so blessed. Like, we check all the boxes as far as joy and serving a mission with love. Like, it's all there. Now, we're not without, the ups and downs of all the things nonprofits, get thrown. That's just called life. But we always do it with this, again, that mindset of this is magic. This is a magical moment, right? Let's see what we can do. And then it becomes part of our story, how we overcame some odds or some challenge or blocker. And then we just keep telling the story and sharing it with others.
I love what you said, that we don't compete, we complete. When I was doing an assessment for a nonprofit before they were going to do this huge planning thing, but their board of directors said, we want you to talk to our funders because we want to know what they think of us, and they're not going to tell us what they think of us. And they did, I said, tell me who you want me to talk to. And they were pretty high rollers in the area. Like, they give a lot and they give it significantly. And so I brought them together. It was a handful of them. And they said, don't attach our names, but we'll share you what we like and our concerns for the broader community as well. And, it was amazing to me is what they loved when nonprofits completed others, said, hey, we're not going to apply for that, but we can help you, or we will come behind you and fill in here, right? So that it wasn't this competition. Because, of course, for them, they're thinking, we want our money to go as far as possible and have as big an impact. So the whole competition thing didn't fly for them. And they said, for the nonprofit I was working with, they said, that's the one thing we love about them, because they're just not grabby. They apply for stuff, but they work with anybody to help get their mission done. And it just takes the barrier down. And yet I do know situations where people go, I don't want to share that because what if they take it from us? And I'm thinking, well, you don't have it yet. So what are you out, because people get that kind of like a scarcity mentality. So you just have so much joy and abundance in how you, the Abundant organization, how you approach your work, which probably really affects your relationships as well.
Yes. I love it. Yeah. And to your point, a favorite thing I say, it's probably going to run its time. No one's going to know what I'm talking about anymore. But I like to say, it's not the Hunger Games, you guys. We don't have to kill each other to get to let's collaborate. Funders love collaborative grants.
They do. But the thing is, collaboration takes effort, and it's relationships, and so it's not like, hey, let's just, you do this part and I do this part. You really have to have a solid relationship and trust with people. Otherwise it can be difficult. And, but collaborations, when they're done well, whoa, they are so powerful.
Right. So magical. Yes.
They are. You talk about building abundant organizations. So what was the instance in which you decided to do the abundant nonprofit?
Yeah. So I used to say that I'm like Lucy with the little box that says the doctor is in. That's how I felt. So pre-COVID, when we were in an office, people kept coming in, and it was like, can I run this by you? And it was rarely about what we were doing. It was conflict resolution. It was having a difficult conversation. It was all like Brene Brown on steroids. Like and as time went on, and then COVID, and then my kids moved in, and there's all this like all these messy things in life, and the questions kept coming, and the consistency of how do you run this, time, there's no time, there's no money. I kept hearing that. There's no time, there's no money. And I heard it so much, and I have so much time and so much money. And I decided this is the moment when I also have this amazing board member. She recently rolled off, but she, a couple months ago, turned 90. And this woman is crushing it. She's girl boss. She is a girl boss. She is traveling, and she consults around the world. And I said, I want to be her. She just turned 90. I just turned 60. And that's when it hit me. This is my third act. From 1 to 30, I did this. And from 30 to 60, I did this. My kids are all grown. Let's go. And all the pieces came together because I already knew all the questions. I already knew all the reasons people came to Lucy for the doctor is in. I already knew. And so I decided this is it. I want to help. I want to be here. I want to say, I'm listening. Tell me your story, and let me use my special superpower cape of problem solving and strategy. And just like I did at the Children's Museum, what are you most proud of? And let me just sit back and watch it all happen. And then I'm going to give you my 2 cents. And that's how it all came about.
So do you actually have a lemonade stand where people can come?
I should. That should be my logo.
It should be just a little, or even on your Zoom meetings, just put one around your frame like that.
I love that. I should do that.
So how does your organization operate?
Okay. Favorite question ever. Okay. There's 2 things I want to share with how we operate. The first thing is like culture, right? Culture is everything to us. Without, we hire by culture. You don't know how to do something? We love you. Come on in. We'll show you how to do it. Like, as long as you have that like attitude and culture. So we have 3 pillars that define our culture. And they are embrace a woohoo spirit. So that's seeing the magic in all the things. It's live in a constant state of gratitude. So no matter what it is, we are sending thank you notes and, celebrating birthday, all the things. And then the third one is to operate in a space of yes. And what that means is not saying yes to all the things. It's not that. It's never cutting someone down right from saying, oh, we already tried that. It didn't work. If we're in a brainstorming meeting and I say we're going to fly a helicopter over the recess and dump art supplies on the playground, no one here is going to say, oh, that's not going to work. We're going to say, well, that's very interesting. Let's explore that more. And we might end up with something really cool. But those 3 pillars are so important to us that we operate with all that joy. And it helps us keep the emotion out of tough conversations. Because let's face it, when you work with, 5 people, things happen. You don't respond to an email. You forget to email somebody, whatever it is. You want to be able to know that you're not going to go to bed with a stomach ache because someone irritated you. You're going to go right in, you're going to lean in, and you're going to rumble. And you're going to just seek understanding. And we always say that when you go into a tough conversation, the only winner is the organization. You're not a lawyer. You're not going in to prove anything or to get a verdict. You're going in to be fully vulnerable, have a conversation, and let the organization win. So that's one piece, the culture.
Wait. Back up.
Okay.
So you and I are going into a tough conversation. Make one up and let's talk or demonstrate for me how we do that so the organization wins.
Okay. So I will let you know ahead of time that I need to rumble with you. And we use that common language. We pulled it from Brene Brown. We've all been trained. We've read her book. And when we were together in the office, we actually played that song, Get Ready to Rumble. And we'd all look around going, oh my God, someone's about to rumble. So it became like a joyful space. So I would say to you, Sarah, hey, I need to rumble. I need a quick rumble with you. When do you have time? So now I'm coming in There's something we need to talk about. And so we would hop on a Zoom. And the way I would present it was, this is about the event we were at yesterday. What happened was when so-and-so walked over and you didn't introduce me, I felt as if you didn't want me part of that project. And now I would wait for you to say, oh, that wasn't the intent. I forgot his name and I wasn't, whatever that is. So we talk back and forth to understand. And so then we would come up with a solution. And I would say, in the future, if you don't know, like, let's have a code, scratch your ear and I'll know you don't know. And I'll say, hi, I'm Robin. So there's bigger ones like forgetting to pay one of our high school interns. And I know 2 of my staff would go in on a rumble. And when it's something like that, we would say, okay, let's fix that first. Like, there's no blame, no shame. You didn't put the thing in, right? We know it was you. It was human error. We're not judging. We're not blaming. We're just saying it happened on your computer, right? We're going to go get them paid. We're going to fix that. And then we're going to come back and we're going to create a system or a procedure or a policy. So the organization wins, because now no more high school interns will not get paid, because we have now, because of that error, thank you so much for making it, because now we know it happens. Human error is possible. We will eliminate that. So thank you. Here's the policy, and that won't happen again. So everyone walks away with their dignity, their respect, and, lots of hugs, and we get closer because of it.
Yeah. And it takes courage to do that, to show up and not take stuff personal. But what's so great about that is you actually improve the organization, right? And there's going to be more mistakes because we're human.
We're all human. Exactly.
It just happens. Okay. So that was your first one. I cut you off, but I wanted an example of that.
Okay. The second thing that we value, like, these are non-negotiables, right? The culture, non-negotiable. The other thing non-negotiable since day one, and this is the piece of running a nonprofit like a CEO leader, like a Fortune 500 leader, we have diversification of funding streams. So from the very beginning, we focused on the 5 ways nonprofits bring in money, right? We have individual donors, sponsorships, fundraisers, grants, and earned income. And we looked at all 5 of those and we said, how do we make sure that we honor all of them? How do we make sure that we are not so focused on one that if all the individual donors go away, we're out of business? And so we have been very intentional about making sure that we're like evenly distributed. Sometimes there's more of one and less, more of the other, but that is my job as the leader, is to stay focused on how the money is coming in. And that way, when funding is pulled from one particular area, it's just a little bump. It's just a speed bump. It's really, we just keep going. So that's been the other piece that's been a non-negotiable.
What types of earned income are you talking about? Are you talking service income, real estate income? What types?
Yeah. So at the Children's Museum, of course, it was that beautiful little store that you have to walk through before you leave, right? So like aquariums, museums, all those beautiful spaces. For us, it's a summer camp. So we have 6 weeks in the summer where we partner with school districts. We plop ourselves into a school. We charge 70 parents to pay for their students, their children, to come to our summer camp for 6 weeks. And then 30 students are gifted to the school district as scholarships in gratitude for sharing their school with us. So it's 100 students, 70 of whom pay. We have morning drop-off and late care. Parents pay extra for that. And we have this beautiful earned income model that is unrestricted income, which we know we love, right? And that's how we do that.
That's beautiful. But I really like that you have the 5 different sources and you pay attention to them, right? I mean, that's something you're looking at all the time. Like, how are we balanced financially? And do we need to be looking somewhere else or doubling down in one area?
Yeah.
So how cool is that? So what are you super excited about right now?
Oh gosh, super excited about. Well, we in 2021, so we were created in 2013. So can I tell you 2 things?
Do whatever.
So in April, we were awarded the 2025 South Carolina Governor's Award for Arts Education. It's our
That's great.
highest arts award in our state. I wish I had my statue here. I feel like I've won an Oscar. It's so heavy and it's absolutely gorgeous. And we are so proud of that award. So that's the big thing that I'm most proud of. In 2021, we acquired another nonprofit that was a high school entrepreneurship program. And the reason we acquired it was they were recognizing they were more of a program than a nonprofit. And they fit so beautifully into our space of creativity and innovation through the arts. We had K-8 programs, and our middle school heavily focused on entrepreneurship through the arts. And so it was this beautiful combining of missions to create a K-12 pipeline. And so what I'm most excited about is, that was 2021. So think about it. We've just spiraled through all these school closures and all the things. And this upcoming school year is really the first year where we've had it. We've got a history. We understand the ebbs and flows of the program. And we are going all in on sponsorships and working with banks to come in and work with these young entrepreneurs about financial literacy and understanding what it means to do a SWOT analysis and a profit and loss statement. And we're just really, really excited to expand that throughout the state of South Carolina.
Wow, that is very cool. Very cool. That's exciting. Think about how many folks will be able to be involved in that? What will be your capacity?
Well, we're going to get the funding and have a lot. What I love is, we do an annual business plan competition. It's a statewide. So when the teachers do this in their classrooms, they have the top 3 winners, and they win seed money. It's like $300 for the winner, $200, $100. And the top 2 are invited to the state competition. So we go to the capital of South Carolina in Columbia. And it is this all day, I call it March Madness meets Shark Tank. So you've got the whole field of all the students. So I think a couple of months ago, we had 60 students. So you think about it, they're competing now. They go in breakout rooms and they get eliminated and they keep moving on, and there's lots of energy. And we have these judges that come from all different industries. We have bankers and we have entrepreneurs and we have architects and engineers, and they come and they ask great questions and the students present. And it's just so great to see them with these ideas that they've created, and they win. The top place wins $3,000 seed money, and then it goes down from there. So I say all that to say, we can do as many as we want. We go to this college campus in Columbia, Midlands Technical College. I would say we would just go to a bigger building and just bring in hundreds. It would be so great.
I have no doubt that you'll end up doing that.
I love it. Yeah.
But how great is it? Because
we'll do a national competition. Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
We said it here. Sarah, we said it here. It's going to happen.
That's so great. Because think about it. Those young folks, they've thought it through. They have a plan. And how great for them to see that be, first of all, acknowledged, whether or not they win, to make it there. They've learned something from doing the planning in and of itself and having to talk with folks and pitch. But then to be acknowledged and be able to go and put it into action is just that much more special.
It's awesome. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Oh, so you have worked with amazing thought leaders. You've taken from those experience. You've talked about Brene Brown. So, you have a lot that kind of has formed your thinking and an approach, plus your own education and learning. What is one piece of advice that you would offer a nonprofit leader who might be feeling stuck or a little under-resourced right now?
Yeah, I love that. It's really about, what did Socrates, what was it, 2,500 years ago? Socrates said, know thyself, right? There are so many cool ways to know more about you. There's human design. There's the Enneagrams. There's your horoscope, whatever it is that you want to look into to learn more about how you tick, what your personality is. I would say, learn more, sit back and do an assessment of you as a leader. If you have no time, I would go into the calendar and look and see, where is your time going? Because We all have the same 24 hours a day. And if you look around and you look into some of these amazing leaders who are just crushing it, they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot in their 24 hours. And then you look at the finances, the what's that little thing where the boy keeps putting his hand on the holes in the water and just
Oh, the dike, right? To keep the
yeah,
water.
right. Like, where are you leaking funds? Like, what? Take a good hard look at the places that you feel are your pain points, and really, you nailed it. It's time and money, and let's see where we're leaking. Where can we tighten up? And certainly, I mean, we could talk about AI in a whole other session, but AI is a great tool to save time, not take the place of your brain, but take away the minutia that's draining your energy and taking your time away from you. Once you know that, knowledge is power. And once, Socrates was right, know thyself and see where you can delegate, what you should not be doing. Again, delegating, someone may say, well, we don't have any money, we can't hire. Board members can help. And there are tons of volunteers and people what is the score? That's retired executives. And lastly, I would say one great place to go is the National Council of Nonprofits, your local chapter in your state. There's only 4 states that don't have one, but if you do have one, reach out. They, a lot of times on their website, have a section for new board members or resources that can help you. Don't do it alone, but definitely know yourself.
That is great advice for anything, right? Know who you are so that you know where you can grow, you can grow and show.
That's right.
All right, my friend. Well, I'm going to ask you about your goals for the next 12 months beyond what you're doing with work. Is there something you're super excited about for the next
year? There sure is. And thank you for asking, because I believe when I put it out into the universe, it manifests, right? I'm like Gabby Bernstein. I'm all in. So I am from originally upstate New York, the Finger Lakes area. And I moved to Charleston in 1990. And now that my children are grown, I am going back to my original dream, that is to live in the Finger Lakes in the summer. So I am in the process of exploring how to have a second home and live there in the summer and Charleston in the winter. And I have my eyes set on the boat I'm going to get and the jet ski. I'm going to be cool grandma. I'm not a grandma yet, but I'm going to be cool grandma. And that's my goal for the next year, is to get all that figured out. And I'm so glad you asked, because now it's out in the universe.
It is out in the universe. And there's so much I appreciate about what you brought to the podcast, your enthusiasm, all of that. But the other thing is you have also helped to bust some preconceived ideas or myths people have about, I'm going to put me in your camp because I'm older than you by almost a decade. But this whole thing, like, when are you not going to do stuff? And you just talked about your board member who's 90 and doing stuff and having, making a difference and, but living the life she envisioned. And now you've talked about a 30-year look forward. And I think it's important for us to really manifest what we want, show up and put it out there instead of saying, well, I'm done with my career, my quote unquote official career. And, so I love that you just put it out there with so much enthusiasm.
Thank you.
And so as we're RVing and we get up in the Finger Lakes area, it'd be good to see you.
Let me know when you're there. I will fly up. Any reason to go, I'm in.
No, not be there this summer. It won't be. It won't be within the year. So
yeah, don't call me in January.
And I love cool grandma. That's a pretty awesome.
Cool grandma. Yep.
Cool grandma. All right, Robin, we have all your social media in here. Folks, how could you not have loved this episode and learned from it? I can't imagine that you didn't. So I'm going to request that you take this, share it with someone else in the nonprofit sector, whether it's a board member, a staff member, someone who supports a nonprofit, maybe yourself or other folks who donate and show up and help nonprofits. Understand the abundant mindset that Robin brings to her work, because it not only is possible, it really is the juice that fuels the organization with joy. Nonprofit work is big work. It's a big industry of people doing important things in the world. So share this episode, with as many folks as you can. And let's give a big thumbs up to Robin. And Robin, all the best for you.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
You've been listening to Nonprofits Today with best-selling author, change agent, and strategic nonprofit coach, Sarah Box. You can grab the show notes and find out how to work with Sarah and the Sandbox team at sarahbox.com. We'd love this podcast to reach as many people as possible, so be sure to rate, review, and share this podcast with someone you think would get value from this conversation. And be sure to tune in and power up with future episodes of Nonprofits Today.